When Emily and I got engaged, I was convinced my life had finally clicked into place. She was sharp, stunning, and had this effortless ability to light up whatever space she entered. After nearly 4 years together, I trusted her more deeply than I'd ever trusted anyone. As the wedding drew closer, a cocktail of thrill and jitters ran through me constantly. She was busy planning her bachelorette night with her closest friends. I teased her about not wanting a full rundown, but honestly, I felt no real concern. She assured me it would be low-key, just laughter, cocktails, and good vibes. Nothing wild, nothing that would cross any lines or unsettle me. I took her at her word because our bond felt rock solid. That evening, while she was out, I stayed in. I ordered a pizza, cracked open a beer, and quietly worked on the honeymoon surprise I'd been putting together for weeks. I'd booked us a dreamy trip to Greece, the exact destination she'd always talked about with longing, but never thought we'd actually reach. Every so often I glanced at my phone, half expecting a sweet or silly text from her, but the screen stayed silent. She's probably just caught up in the moment. Having a blast, I reasoned, dismissing the quiet as no big deal. By midnight, I headed to bed, confident she was safe and surrounded by people who cared about her. The following morning, Emily walked to the door, looking worn out, yet strangely upbeat. She wrapped her arms around me, said the night had been fantastic, and brushed off any specifics with a quick, just typical girl stuff, before slipping upstairs to shower. I didn't press her, but a faint unease lingered in my chest. I couldn't pinpoint why. Maybe the way her gaze slid past mine, or the too relaxed way she spoke. I told myself I was being paranoid and shoved the feeling down. Trust was everything between us. I refused to let doubt creep in. Later that afternoon, I popped into a downtown cafe to grab a coffee. While standing at the counter waiting, I caught a familiar laugh. It was Sarah, Emily's maid of honor, seated at a nearby table with another friend. They hadn't spotted me, and I wasn't eavesdropping on purpose. But the moment Emily's name came up, my ears locked in. Sarah gave a shaky chuckle and said, "I still can't believe she actually went through it the night before the wedding." My pulse lurched. The other woman leaned in and murmured, "If her fiancé ever finds out, he'll cancel everything." I stood frozen, my untouched coffee rapidly cooling in my grip. Part of me wanted to bolt, but my feet wouldn't cooperate. Sarah dropped her voice even lower. I had to strain to catch the words. She mentioned how they'd all sworn absolute secrecy. Then came the bombshell. Hooking up with Mark, of all people, her best friend's husband. She called it harmless fun in a dismissive tone, but quickly added, "What if somebody spills?" Everything inside me shifted. My lungs constricted. Breathing suddenly felt impossible. I desperately wanted to convince myself I'd misheard, but each sentence hit with brutal clarity. The woman I was supposed to marry in mere days had cheated on me during the very celebration meant to honor our commitment. I managed to slip out of the cafe before they saw me. My mind was a storm, disbelief, rage, heartbreak colliding at once. The wound wasn't only the act itself. It was a calculated cover-up. The way she returned home, pressed her lips to mine, and acted like the night had been innocent. By the time I got back to the house, shock had hardened into fury. I craved answers, but even more, I needed undeniable evidence. That night, after she fell asleep, I quietly picked up her phone. The messages with Mark were right there, playful flirting escalating into drunken admissions, plus a grainy photo that demolished the last shred of doubt. The next morning, I faced her with it all. At first, she denied everything, her voice climbing with rehearsed indignation. But the moment I held up the screen, her face went ashen. She stammered, tears streaming, insisting it was a terrible, one-time lapse she deeply regretted. She pleaded with me not to destroy our future over a single stupid mistake fueled by alcohol and wedding stress. The more she begged, the more hollow her promises rang. What shattered me most wasn't merely the infidelity. It was realizing she had been fully prepared to walk down the aisle and build a life with me while carrying that secret forever. I told her the wedding was canceled. She broke down completely, grabbing at my hands, swearing it would never happen again, that she loved me more than anything. but the image of her was irreparably changed. Trust, one shatter like that, doesn't repair itself with tears and apologies. I left the room while she sobbed on the floor. For days afterward, my phone lit up relentlessly. Messages overflowing with regret, love, declarations, desperate pleas. But I didn't respond to a single one. When we informed our families the wedding was off so close to the date, they were stunned. I kept the real reason private, simply saying it was the right decision. Emily's friends, however, knew exactly why, and their conspicuous silence said more than words ever could. Eventually, the truth reached Mark's wife, too, and their marriage collapsed under the weight. The fallout was painful and messy, yet in a strange way it brought a form of peace. Emily's actions didn't just wound me. They exposed her character in the moments she believed no one would ever see. Looking back, overhearing that cafe conversation was a brutal but merciful twist of fate. It spared me decades of deception, gaslighting, and quiet betrayal. Losing the person I thought I loved ached terribly, but realizing the truth only after years of marriage would have destroyed me far worse. Emily had banked on her secret staying hidden forever. Destiny had other plans. And as I stepped forward, wounded but clearer-eyed, I understand one truth with certainty. I would rather face life alone and authentic than remain tethered to someone capable of such profound dishonesty behind my back.